Okay, so let's explore some different ways of coaching. When I say this, I mean that there are many different modalities, forms of coaching, tools, frameworks, exercises that we can use. And a lot of the time in the coaching space, these tools and exercises have come from psychotherapy, psychology, studies in human behavior. Now, I'm not a certified psychotherapist. I don't have a degree in psychology myself. As a matter of fact, actually, a lot of psychotherapists and psychologists actually reach out to me to want to learn how to become a coach. It's just a different space here, a different industry. But we do have this respect for each other. Now, when I share this type of coaching, which is called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, it actually stems from psychotherapy. So I'm not saying that when I share this with you that you're going to know how to be a psychotherapist. You've got to go to school to learn that, right? But what we can do is we can understand the different elements of this form of ways that you can support your clients with negative thought patterns, irrational feelings and emotions and behavior, to be able to create change. So I've studied a lot of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, over the last 14 years. And I do have exercises that I can support people with that are cognitive behavioral therapy based. And it's good to be able to understand it. If you really want to be able to go even deeper into the practice, then yes, go to a school, go to learn psychotherapy, go and learn from a CBT instructor that can certify you in this. I'm just going to break this down for you so you have an understanding of what's out there that you can actually utilize to support your clients. So in cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the main areas that you can focus on are thought records. And what I mean by this is you encourage your clients to keep a journal of their thoughts. And this is usually when they're feeling these challenging emotions, when they're experiencing heightened, frustrating feelings of being stuck, feelings of anger, feelings of sadness. And this helps them to identify their patterns of these irrational behaviors and irrational beliefs that come into play. And as a coach that can use this modality, it means that you're able to support your clients in reframing their thought patterns so that they have more of a balanced perspective on life. Okay. Another great tool within CBT is cognitive restructuring. And what cognitive restructuring is this is where you can actually sit down with your client and support them in identifying and even challenging a distorted or negative thought pattern, such as an all or nothing type of thinking, even catastrophizing thought that they continue to loop over. Even overgeneralization is a huge one that we hear. You know, so many people are stuck in broadly and generally putting things into one bucket, when life is more complex than that. You know, yes, there are simple things in life, but we tend to sometimes overgeneralize rather than pulling it apart and looking at the challenge for what it is, and looking at the many different parts of the challenge. And so this is really about supporting your clients to replace their thoughts with more rational and evidence-based alternative thoughts and perceptions. Another thing that you could do with CBD practices is you can go into some practices around behavioral experiments. And this is where you design experiments for your clients to test the validity of their thoughts or beliefs. So for example, if a client believes that they're really bad at public speaking, they're a terrible speaker, they're usually nitpicking something about themselves and making it about them. So you want to be able to challenge them to be able to speak in front of a small group. Maybe it's a couple people, 1 or 2 people or 3 people. And then after a while, you want to be able to gather some sort of feedback to see what showed up in the moment. How did you feel in that moment? What did people say? That way you can gather some intel so that you can challenge that belief to say, look, maybe what you were thinking before isn't quite what it is. It's something different. Another form of CBT support is exposure therapy. You probably heard this word or these words a lot. This is where you are slowly but surely, gradually, I should say, expose your client to certain things that they are in fear of. Okay, so for example, if they're scared to post on social media, On video, you may get them first to post a caption, and then you ask them, well, how did you feel when you put that caption out? You wrote something. Oh, yeah, I felt great. Okay, great. I want you to post a picture of yourself. When you post a picture of yourself, I want to see, how did you feel? Oh, I felt great. Okay, well, I want you to send me, as your coach, a video. Send me a video of you speaking on video for 10 seconds, right? And I want you to teach me something about a topic or share a little quote or a thought. Send it to me, and it's only going to go to me. When they send it to you, then you ask them, what came off you when you sent it to me? So you're slowly but surely exposing them to putting themselves out there more. That's just one example. Obviously, there's many different examples we can use around like phobias, social anxiety, even just fear of like launching business and progress, because there's that fear of failure that can come into play. So you want to be able to expose them over time with just chunks of steps and little goals instead of really big, scary goals, right? Another practice in CBT is problem-solving techniques. So really just breaking down a step-by-step plan and addressing any sort of fears that may come up, anything that your client feels are like coping mechanisms or negative habits that come into play. So that way your client is able to think about the broader scope of what's happening here, rather than paying so much attention to every little intricate part. Yes, we get to look at that. We zoom in, but we also zoom out and look at the bigger picture too. And then we can really have a look at like, how will we approach this from a macro view? How will we approach this from a micro view? Okay. That's very, very profound actually, because a lot of people are either stuck in micro view or macro view, right? So another practice would be goal setting. I did speak about this earlier on in Confident Coach. We talked about SMART goals, setting SMART goals. So specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. This is something that you want to practice regularly. You know, this is pretty much across the board in most forms of therapeutic coaching, or even just simple life coaching in itself. You know, this is what we all get to do. We get to track and measure, right? That's the key. So you want to be able to have some support around goals. This is about holding your client to their goals and keeping them accountable. That's the key. Another practice within cognitive behavioral therapy is activity scheduling. So really encouraging our clients to plan and schedule enjoyable, meaningful activities, things that align with their values, things that will improve their mood, that'll increase their overall well-being. That's what you want to do. You want to be able to get them to feel alive again and excited about things that they can progress in. Number 8 is relaxation techniques. This is similar to what we call acceptance and commitment therapy, which is like mindfulness, ACT therapy is often referred to. You'll find that, you know, mindfulness, ACT therapy, other forms of like, you know, meditation or visualization practices, which brings you more into that flow state, more of like a feminine, if we use that sort of world construct in psychology. In the Western world, we use masculine and feminine a lot. This is more of like a feminine activity that's within cognitive behavioral therapy. So just really like walking your clients through various relaxation strategies, such as deep breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, so tensing the muscle and then relaxing it, mindfulness, being present in the moment, right? And this is all about managing your stress and anxiety. Okay. So this is used often in CBT as well, actually a lot now, because a lot of people are struggling with stress. Another aspect of CBT training and exercises is assertiveness. Okay. So assertiveness practices. And this is really about helping your clients to develop assertiveness skills to be able to communicate their needs and their boundaries effectively, to be able to speak their values into the space, right? And this can improve their relationships. It can improve the relationship they have with themselves. It can improve their confidence. And it's very important to have this as a practice. And you don't necessarily have to be a psychotherapist to be able to even run somebody through this, right? It's really about teaching people how to be able to communicate what it is that they are in alignment with, so that they stop betraying themselves. And then the last thing that somebody that practices CBT would do is just really monitoring the progress of their clients. So you might want to do like regular check-ins, assess, you know, where were you last week on a scale of 1 to 10? How are you feeling? Where are you at now? On a scale of 1 to 10, how'd you feel in the morning when you stuck to your habits? What did you notice that was different? And then you can just adjust your coaching strategies each session as you go along to just refine it and tweak it. Okay. So I just want you to know you've got to be a licensed mental health professional to be able to call yourself a psychotherapist. So please, like, obviously I've shared some things and you can pull some of these practices and learn from people that are teaching this. But do know that the reason why I'm sharing these different therapeutic practices with you is to open your mind to the fact that you don't have to try and work all this out by yourself. You can dive into cognitive behavioral therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, positive psychology. You can go into a lot of different fields and learn from incredible people in each field, experts in that space that are doing certifications, or come over to Influential Coach, where I teach you the skills, where I teach you the tools, the frameworks, the exercises. I have the top 23 tools that I use. I've got hundreds of tools, but these are the top 23 tools that I use to get the best results. So, this is where you really skill up, right? And so jump into the next season of Influential Coach. Reach out to me. Let me know that you've finished Confident Coach and you're like, Joe, I want to learn how to deepen my practices. And you can actually run through practice sessions and breakthrough sessions to be able to duplicate the results with the coaching tools that I teach. So anyway, I hope this opened your mind. Obviously, incorporating CBT practices into your coaching practice can really bring some valuable tools and strategies for your clients. And it's going to help them a lot to be able to change their thought patterns, the ones that are negative, that aren't working for them. It's going to positively impact their behavior, and it's going to increase their emotional well-being. So it's pretty cool practice. Much respect to CBT and the psychotherapists out there.